What if real estate could do more than build wealth? What if it could heal? Today on Let's REI, I'm sitting down with Gradey Iverson, founder of BlissBase Ventures, who's redefining what it means to invest with purpose. From co-living to creative finance to homes designed to support families during recovery, this episode is all about using real estate to make a real difference. This is Let's REI with Jamie Stone. Welcome, Gradey. Thank you for spending some time with me on Saturday morning for this podcast, Let's REI.
Of course. Thanks for having me and putting up with the little power outage. And, I know it's been a bit of a struggle for us to catch a time to meet each other. So I'm glad it finally worked out.
It's kind of funny, right? We've been back and forth, and then we finally sat down to do one, and then we had a power outage on our first attempt. So we'll get through this one.
Yep. We got this.
Awesome. We got this. We can do it. I first met you in Growth Co. Over the Zooms, you would pop up and you always had some great insights. We connected right at the beginning, and I think we talked way back then. We should be on a podcast together at some point. I wasn't even doing one then, so I'm like, yeah, sure, podcast. That sounds pretty terrifying. But here we are, and done several since. So yeah, thank you for that offer back then, and yeah, I'm glad you're here today.
Yeah, your podcasts, they've been great. There's been a lot of people that sharing some great information. I've listened to a handful of them, but there's still a lot more for me to catch up on. So I'm excited to be here and
appreciate that.
Get to some questions and see what you pull out of me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get a little bit into your story. And I know we actually, before Growth Co., you're also in another community that I'm in, Sub 2, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
And are you in any other communities like other than that
I'm
one?
in a
Gator or
handful
any
of
other lending community?
I'm in a handful of other communities, but no other I'm in one called Wholesale Inc., which is a wholesaling community. That's another paid one. But other than that, the rest are just free communities and little things people have put together for people they've met throughout their, networking and getting to know people. And hey, we're of similar minds, so let's start a community that fits that.
So what was your path even into real estate before we even get to your BlissBase Ventures?
I've always had an interest in real estate since I was a little kid. I had an uncle who was always, every couple of years, was building a new house. I had another uncle who did cabinetry on homes. I had some friends that, their parents built new homes and did construction, that kind of thing. And it always interested me. And I knew that at some point I was going to get into it. So throughout life, get through school, high school, all that, I walked into a really good career in the oil and gas industry. And at that point, I had totally lost, everything that pushed me towards real estate. I'd lost that drive of understanding who I was and what it is I wanted out of life, right? Well, throughout that little over a decade in oil and gas industry, was part of a industrial fire and high angle rescue crew. So got to do a lot of really cool work within mindset and working through different things like that. That started leading me into the mindset realm. I started a digital marketing agency and I walked away from refining. So after a little over a decade, that's where I was going. Well, I found out I don't like social media. I don't like to do social media for other people. I don't want to spend, I can catch myself scrolling for hours watching videos, but it didn't fit me. So I started another company, that business, credit card processing. Also, it just didn't fit with who I was. Sat down, talked to my wife, and was looking through some stuff. And finally, it was like, you know what? I've always had an interest in real estate. I wonder if there's a way that I can actually do this. Saw some of the Pace Morby stuff, saw some other videos. Like, I think we can do this. Now, we had already picked up a couple rental properties and I knew I was interested in it, but I just wasn't sure how that was that it fit me. How was I going to bring something of value to this? How am I going to show up? That kind of stuff. And so it took a little bit. Finally, I got in, I joined Sub 2 community and was like, hey, I'm going to wholesale, but I don't like sitting on the phones. Like, I love having conversations with people, but I'm not the biggest fan of cold calling, of calling strangers up. Hey, you want to sell? Hey, I know you're going through something. I'm here to help, but and getting hung up, getting cussed out, all the random things that happen. And then you have some really good conversations with people that open up. And that's the part I really love. But I knew I wanted to buy and hold. I then found, we're both in the where we met, Jesse through the Growth Co. I found him and
Mhm.
started to talk with him and people that went through that program, and it's like, hey, this really fits. This is what I want to be doing. I know what I want to build. I just don't know exactly how to do it. I need a blueprint. I need a mentorship. I need someone to show me something along the way. That led to Growth Co, where I met you, where I met my business partner with BlissBase Ventures, and started really focusing on the buy and hold, proper networking, how to have conversations with people, and gearing towards where I'm at now.
Nice, nice. So you've done a lot, and I'm always interested in people that were working a W-2 and now are doing this full time, just to see that transition, because it's not an easy one for sure. And you know,
Not
um,
at all.
some people, some people go cold turkey, and some people do it like in a piecemeal fashion. But yeah, would you say you were kind of cold turkey, or did you go kind of like a more of a gradual
I
transition out of it?
Well, I was in a different position than a lot of people. So I had already walked away from my W-2, building other businesses that just didn't fit with me. And luckily my wife, amazing. I don't So blessed to have her. Great supportive system. And she said, "Hey, there's something on your heart. You know that you want to go do it. So figure out how to go do it." And we were in a decent spot. And so at some point, I had no income, and I'm jumping into real estate. No,
Yeah,
not operating any of my other businesses. It was like, okay, I got to do this, and that's where I got pulled into wholesaling, right? Because wholesaling is quicker money. Buy and hold
right.
is longer term, more building sustainability, building wealth, building income, that kind of thing on a long term basis. And the thing about social media and people that are good at marketing, they really make it seem like it's something that you can just flip the switch on and you're going.
Yes.
And it takes
Yeah,
time.
I agree. Yeah.
You can get which I don't want to call it luck, because partially it is luck, but it's also, if you have the drive and you have the passion and you go gung ho at it, and it's like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm going to win, and you can stay laser focused, you can make it happen fairly quickly, especially on the wholesale side of things. Now, I was getting pulled a lot of different directions because I knew where I wanted to go, but I needed income for my family. And so it wasn't until I really got focused that things started to move forward. Now, buy and hold, the market has drastically changed over the past 5 years, up and down, and good areas and bad areas, and it's always moving. And so one of the things that I've had to learn is, how do we facilitate that? How do we stay fluid in our business to keep moving in a way that we can be profitable and get good deals and all that kind of thing? So it's been a process, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long journey for sure. And I know you've done co-living, buy and hold, maybe other buy and holds. Have you ever done anything shorter term like flips?
I have not done a flip yet. I'm looking at getting into that. I've got short-term rentals, I've got midterm rentals, we've got co-living.
Wow,
So I've got
I
to get
mean, each one of
into,
those is its.
yeah,
I
it's
was gonna
its
say, yeah, I was
own
gonna say each one of those
animal.
is its own thing. Is its own, yeah. So you're doing all three.
And so the midterm, and well, actually, I have midterm, I have a long term, and a short term. And those are in more, not the best markets, which is, for
Mm,
me, has been good because it's caused me to have to learn a lot of different aspects, from marketing to, what are the things we can do that make this, I guess that's marketing too, make this more attractable, especially on the short term, for people to want to rent out when the competition
yeah.
is very high, but we need to get the mortgage paid. And so you start to realize that there's a lot of different, in each niche, in each area, there's a lot of different ways to make it work. And the biggest thing is, if you utilize private money, especially, making sure your lenders are happy comes first. So if you can make sure your lenders stay in a good position, they're going to want to continue to work with you, and you got your mortgage paid, perfect. If you're making a little money on top of that, that's even better.
Have you utilized private money for those deals?
We utilize private money on the co-living deals.
Well, so those skills are definitely important because you are is from what I understand, it's kind of coalesced for you into this latest venture of yours. I mean, you're company's called BlissBase Ventures, and it's very unique what you're trying to do and what your vision is there. If you could explain that a little bit, because I haven't heard of anybody else
Yeah.
doing this.
So we, I met my business partner in that same group where I met you. We came together and we both had a very similar vision. And we knew that we wanted to help people going through different medical situations because, we've been through our own situations or family members have where it's like, hey, there's something here that could be improved on or changed. And we sat down, we spent, I don't remember if it was 2 weeks or how long, where we'd get together for an hour or two and we'd go over in depth on what's your vision? What do you see in the business? Where do you want to go? And get all the details that we could together to then say, hey, you know what? This is a good match. I like your mentality, love where your head's at, where your heart's at. We have different skills that can benefit each other to grow this business. And we came together to form BlissBase Ventures. And so our main target with BlissBase Ventures is we want to help people going through different medical situations. We want to help them offer home like housing. Think of transitional housing, but post surgery care. So we're not
Mm,
offering in home health care or anything like that, but a house or a place to stay that's suited based around your needs for recovery. So grab handles on the toilet so you can get up and down off the toilet after surgery by yourself. Chairs, other things in the shower so you can shower and bathe yourself after surgery. Beds that more the medical type that can stay inclined so you can sleep in a proper position and comfortably, and little things throughout the house, from paint color to natural plants to all those other little things that we don't really think about, but there's some good science studies out there that show they improve the healing factor, the rate of your healing, just by having, proper colors, natural plants, maybe a little garden to go to help with that healing factor
that
so
sounds
people
awesome.
can, you can get to a place after surgery that feels like home, but also is comfortable and has everything you need instead of a hotel or an Airbnb that's set up, get people in, get people out. We have a bunch of stuff and it may not
Yeah.
actually help you.
Yeah, I mean, my background is in healthcare, and that's definitely needed for sure. So many people come to the hospital like they didn't expect to come in that day. Even like sometimes it's a planned surgery, sometimes it's like an emergency, and you're going to surgery and you didn't plan on that. And then there's family coming in from different places to kind of support, and people are sleeping in the waiting rooms and everything else. If there was housing around the like a hospital and somewhere for you to go afterwards, you can make your follow-up appointments because usually, after a surgery, you've got follow-up appointments like maybe a week out, 2 weeks out, and then maybe a last one, which maybe you don't need to be in that housing for the last one, but for the first few, you'd want to be fairly close. Not everybody lives close to a hospital that's capable of some of the surgeries that they might need. So I would assume your market center around like major hospitals.
Yeah, we're looking at major hospitals, more specialty centers, because those are the
Yeah.
trauma one and specialty centers, right?
Mm,
Those are where the bigger surgeries are
right.
happening. Those are where, with a specialty center, cancer, back surgery, neck, brain, knees, whatever it is, you
Yeah.
can really fine tune the necessary items you need for recovery in that house. And so instead of having to go in and adjust things in between guests, you can have it geared towards, hey, we know that this is they do back surgery here, knee surgery or hip surgery. We need wheelchair accessibility. We need different types of things to fit within that, realm of making ease of access, comfortability, and maybe even have some things that they can utilize for PT and different things specific.
It's like having some equipment there even, if they need like a walker or things like that in the
Yep.
house itself. I would imagine you're only looking at like single level houses, no stairs and no pools
For
or anything
certain
like that.
types, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, single family, more ranch style, they're much better for that. But then when you get into certain places, cancer, lung, heart centers, people show up for, once every 6 months or whatever it is. Hey, I've got to show up, get my scans, get my blood checked. I'll be there for 3 days and I'm out. They're perfectly healthy. They're in a good spot. And that's
Right.
where more the like Ronald McDonald type housing, communal housing comes into play. And so that's a whole nother nugget within the business that is an addition to how we can help people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely needed. I mean, I just over the years, I've seen patients that have had to, for long term, even for over a year, had to live next to the hospital just to get in for like dialysis treatments and things like that. Or they have like a vascular access device and they can't live more than, 3 miles from the hospital or something like that. Right. So you
Yeah.
definitely a very, very much needed. I see it. This very, very unique. And
Yeah. And we,
your partner is Tiff, right? And in Growth Co as well. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
did one of you have this idea first, or did you kind of come upon it together? Or
we both had a very similar idea. And when we started to really talk through our visions and what we wanted to build and do, and we were both in shock, or I know I was in shock. I can't speak for her, but of how similar everything fit together. So there wasn't really a lot of like, I don't see it going this way. Oh, I don't see this happening. Oh, I don't want to do this in the business. It was more of like, oh yeah, this fits with what I'm saying. This fits with what you're saying. Let's put it on paper. Let's make sure we have a good contract and agreement of, hey, this is right now where our business is going, what we see in the future, all that kind of stuff. And it was a surprisingly amazing mesh of minds and visions.
that's rare to find.
It
So
is.
you're lucky. Yeah. Yeah. So you've done pretty much the entire growth star that we talk about in Growth Co. Other than, do you have an operations manager?
We
Are you guys doing this yourself?
we did. We had an operations manager for a while, but we kind of took that role and it's currently spread up between the team. We have an
Mm,
underwriter, we have Tiff and I've got an assistant, that awesome gal Abby, she helps me out with a ton of stuff. And we kind of just spread the load and all take on different aspects of the work. But an operations
nice.
manager, you know, it's not what we needed at the time. Now, not saying that
Yeah.
we're not gonna have one in the future,
Gotcha.
but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
mean,
Cool. Um, and I would,
if I was doing this on my own and I didn't have
yeah,
a
yeah,
solid partner that we could share that load, I would have to have an operations manager for myself to move forward, to actually get to where I wanna go.
right. So you could focus on finding the money and, get
Exactly.
them and your underwriter to look at the deals. Yeah, makes sense for sure. And I would assume, maybe I shouldn't assume, but with the co-living, you've got private money and everything. Was that creative deals or was that cash deals?
One One was a creative deal and one was a cash deal. So the creative deal we did subject to, and then we have the cash
Okay.
deal.
Looking back on both those deals, which one was easier? Probably the cash
Um, that is really
or
tough.
not?
We got into really interesting situations on both the properties. So the subject to property, seller was in a going through some health stuff, going through some other things, and just frustrated with how everything turned out. So the communication between the seller and us right couple days after closing really got conflicted. And so
Mm,
getting things that we needed to help out for us made it a lot more difficult because the seller wasn't really communicative in how we needed. So
mm,
that added a whole nother level of frustration to things. The house that was the cash deal, we had a plan, but we weren't prepared for the extra work that we needed. So we got into the deal.
mm,
I found out that the foundation was not as good as we thought, as good as we went
uh,
into expecting. And so we had to do some foundation repair. We had to repair the roof and a handful of other things that led to, a lot more time in the deal before we could get it rented out.
so one was more complicated just from like people dynamics, and the other was more complicated just from things you found afterwards for repairs and all that.
Exactly. And so it's
Cool. Well,
all,
that's
you know,
that's what they say about real estate, right?
yeah, but it's been really good for us because it really it showed a lot of strength in the team that we've built and the people we've put together and how people will pick up where they need to. And, where we can have those tougher conversations as coworkers and business partners, however you want to put it, we can have those tough conversations without offending each other. We can say, hey, this is where I'm at. This is how I'm feeling with this. This is what I think went wrong. Here's where you need to step up. Here's where you need to step up. Here's where I need to step up. What are your guys' thoughts? And it also brought in a lot of different things that, hey, on the next subject to deal, let's make sure we have solid communications before we even close on the property with the seller. Hey, let's make sure we have these inspections done on our deals in the future so that, especially when they hit a certain age, we're not, we know going in, do we need to calculate for an extra, 30 grand in renovation?
Yeah, good. It's good learning, and that's how
It
you
was
do it, right?
great learning.
Jump in.
Yeah.
um, so when it comes to your newest venture with medical housing, and if you were looking for, private money lenders or partners on those deals, how would you communicate like returns plus, I guess, impact to them so that they could see it as something that they want to put their money into?
Telling them the story behind the business. I mean, so really it's here's what we're doing with the housing. If we have a house and we know we're right next to a specialty center, right? Hey, we'll just take a brain center, brain trauma, or they do brain surgeries, Mayo Clinic in Arizona, in Scottsdale area. We have a house that's within 15 minutes of there. And I wanted to let the lender know, hey, this is where your money's going. This is what's happening. Here's what we're looking for returns. It'd be pretty easy because it's one of those things that, yes, I'm asking for money, but I'm bringing an opportunity. Now, on top of that, I'm not only bringing you an opportunity to make interest, depending on the deal, anywhere from 6 to 14%. If the deal allows for it, then we can pay more interest. If the deal doesn't, then we have to get it at lower interest rates. But your money is not only the money going into the deal that you're bringing, it's not only going to increase on interest, we're going to be helping out lives. We're going to be helping out families. And here's how. We know that our house is designed around people going through XYZ. The amenities in there fit with this. They help with this. They do this. It's designed to help in recovery and all these other aspects. And we're working with XYZ hospital, insurance company, whatever it is, to help keep it occupied. Our target returns are X, which means we'll be able to pay you X. If you are open and you want to help out and you want to not only put your money to good work for you, but put it to good work for other people in the process, we'd love for you to join us. If not, we totally understand. There's plenty of people out there that not only want to make money, but also want to help people in the process.
It's almost a natural selection process. I see it as getting those investors that kind of got that heart where they want to help people. Probably would make good good lenders. You know what I mean? People that want to help
Exactly.
people. So they'll probably be
And it also helps
easier
narrow
people to
down.
deal with as well.
Yeah. Well, it's,
Right?
one of the big things a lot of people, you get into a situation and you hear, if you start researching, no money down, I bought all these houses, I bought all this stuff, I'm using other people's money, all that kind of stuff. They don't talk about you are getting into a long-term relationship with these people. So if you have a private money lender that's coming in, that's loaning you money and you don't really have a good understanding of who they are. You don't, it's not someone you'd want to be friends with or you'd spend time with, or they didn't fit within your business. We have our morals, we have our ethics, we have all this stuff that we follow through. And if those people don't fit, why would I want to be in a long-term relationship with them? Why would I want to be having to go report to somebody that, they're there. All I want to do is make money. I don't care about anything else. Your returns are good. Okay, that's good. But you're also have more of a possibility of, hey, I'm not seeing the returns I want. I want my money back now. Like, okay, we do have
Right.
plans to mitigate that. If that does happen, we have ways to make sure that we can, because we always want to do best by our lenders. But if we have someone with a heart, we have someone that fits with our moral views, with who we are, that especially if I want to be friends with them, and I'm okay with, hey, we're going to be spending a year, 2 years under a contract working, keeping you guys updated on everything we're doing. I want to make sure that it's a good person, that it's someone that, hey, if worse comes to worse, right? And I call up and I say, hey, you know the plan, you know what we were working towards. Things are not working out. Property's not profiting like we want, or we're not able to get the people in or help the people how we wanted to. Here is our plan moving forward. Before we jump on this plan, we want to make sure that, you're okay with it, you agree with it. If you don't, we need to shift to getting your money back to you. Whether we have to sell the house, whether we have to bring in another private money lender, refinance out, whatever the means are, we need to make sure that if they don't agree with where we're going with it, if the backup plan or the backup to the backup, we need to have a way that they're not stuck in that situation. Now, if you have somebody that they're going to turn around, they're going to be, hey, you said this, this, and this. Why aren't you getting me la di da di da? It's going to be more frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like you've got a process and you're putting your lenders first either way. So that's
Yep.
good. That's a
And
sign of a good borrower.
that's, I mean,
Yeah.
if you were the way that I look at, every part of the deal and all the interactions that we have, whether I'm wholesaling or buy and hold or fixing whatever it is, I always grew up treat others the way you want to be treated. So if I'm coming into that situation, I put myself in that as much as I can. Okay, I'm a lender. I loan money to these guys. They're not making their payments or they're not doing this. How would I want that person to come to me? Would I want them to come to me, hey, we've missed 3 months of payment, sorry? Or would I want them to come to me ahead of time, hey, this month we didn't do good. We're still going to make sure you get paid. We need to shift our plans and here's where we're going. Are you okay with it? Or do we need to look at another option for you?
That's good. I just wanted to get into what your vision is for this model. Like, do you see this model spreading? Maybe it catches on, or do you think it'll remain like a kind of a niche model that just you guys will be doing?
You know, I hope it spreads. I hope it does as much help to the people that we want it to, because then more people are being helped out. And so, that's the big thing is really, I just want to help these people going through a bad situation or situations they may not have been prepared for, and offer another means to make it a little easier. We've been pretty blessed. We've also got a partnership with a nonprofit, a Good Day Society. And so that partnership with
Okay,
the nonprofit, depending on the situation, the people, all that, we may actually be able to reach out and get help from the nonprofit to bring the support system to help the family get into a house, or wherever that nonprofit can actually help. And so there's more to it than just a, hey, I'm buying real estate to make money. For me, it's, I got into this to help people. I want to be as big an impact as I can and reach as many people as possible. And real estate offers so many different avenues to help people, from lenders to construction workers to contractors to electricians, plumbers, to the people staying in the homes. I mean, you can touch so many more lives with one real estate transaction, one fix and flip, one buy and hold, without ever even realizing it.
that's a good way to look at it. So, what's your big picture plan for 5 years for your company? Where do you see yourselves?
Ooh, that 5 years helping on average 1,000 families a year through BlissBase and growing. Be the easiest, simplest way to put it.
Yeah. Okay. So that being said, this may pique a lot of people's interest in finding out more about your company and your progress and everything else. So where could people find you online and find your company?
Yeah, so we have a website, BlissBase Ventures, BLISSBASE.net. And then they can reach out to me on social media, email Gradey, Gradey, at BlissBase, BLISSBASE.net, and or reach out to me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I don't know where else I'm at, but I'm sure wherever. We're always looking
You
for
know, like
good
social
people to
media,
work
right?
with.
So
Yeah, I've got an assistant to help me with that.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So
What's your Instagram What's your Instagram handle?
At Gradey Lou, I believe. GradeYLou.
Okay, cool, cool. Well, this pretty much wraps it up. The questions I want to ask, and I feel like I found out a lot about you and about your business, and definitely, I think a lot of people will be interested in learning more. So, I thank you for your
No, I
time today,
really,
Grady.
really appreciate your
Maybe
time. Appreciate the questions and the opportunity to share.
Thanks for tuning in to the Let's REI podcast. If you got value from today's episode, hit subscribe on YouTube or follow us on Spotify. For more stories, tools, and insights, head over to letsrei.com. And I'll catch you on the next one.